I'm Mike Mazursky, ex-bank robber. My book is Once Upon a Time in Tel Aviv, a bank robber story. I'm chatting with Stacks.
Welcome to this episode of Chatting with Stacks. I'm your host, Bill Stacks, and today I got Mike Mazursky. Once Upon a Time in Tel Aviv, a bank robber's story.
My plan was to go in there. You know, I never used violence. I was always trying to go by the gentleman bandit credo, sort of. But this woman absolutely flipped out, and all I did was, I pulled the piece out. I said, "Look, open the glass containers," and she flipped out, went in a panic, like ran out of the store, and the door ended up actually locking, so I was locked in. This wasn't one of my best performances, so I still ended up getting, what I needed to get before making my exit, but I had to like muscle the door open, and there were like civilians outside watching the commotion. The alarm was ringing. I ended up muscling the door open, dashing out of there like the devil himself was on my ass, and got away clean. So, and still made a decent penny. So yeah, that was the jewelry store. I go into a few of these stores in the book as well. So I don't know how much of it you want to give away on here, but
hey, tell me whatever you got for us, man. Are you scared after you do this type of thing? Are you worried you're gonna get caught, that someone's following you? Are you like paranoid after?
Afterwards, not really. The fear obviously is before the job. Obviously you're doing it on your own. It's you against the world, and you gotta, it's just obviously it's not an easy thing to do, so you just kind of force yourself to do it. And I had some jobs where I had almost no fear, like almost nothing, and then some jobs where you're nervous as hell. So it's weird, man. Like sometimes you just feel untouchable, and then sometimes you get the nerves, but you still do it. So as far as afterwards, no, because I was pretty slick as far as, like, I knew there wasn't really a way they could tie me to it. Even though after I was doing it for a while, I remember one time I was sleeping. My girlfriend was sleeping next to me, and I woke up in like a cold sweat. I had a dream that it was actually after the jewelry store heist, where I had a dream that somebody was rummaging by the bed and trying to find the jewels that I had taken. And for some reason, I just woke up in this like cold sweat. I never forgot it. So it's a very stressful life, obviously, and it's, I guess, I buried that, but it's there somewhere in the recesses of your mind. It came out in that moment. That's something I'll never forget. That was like, in that dream, I had a sort of a fear I never really felt when I was awake.
Did you tell your girlfriend what you were doing?
No, I didn't tell anybody. Nobody knew what I was doing, but my girlfriend and my a close friend of mine, certain close friends of mine, they knew I was doing something, but I never told them what. So a friend of mine, he thought I was a burglar. It's just something he assumed. And I'm not sure what my girlfriend thought, but I never told anybody what I was doing ever. I didn't hide the fact that I was a criminal, but I never ever told anybody what I was doing.
But you always had money, right?
Like I said, like the people close to me, I didn't hide that I was a criminal, career criminal, whatever you want to call it. So, but I never ever got into specifics ever. So a good friend of mine, he thought I was a burglar. I'm not sure what my girlfriend thought. I know in the beginning she thought I was maybe like, dealing or whatever, but I'm a guy that hates drugs, and I'm against that. So I kind of set her straight that I would never do that. And I'm not sure what she thought, but she didn't ask any questions. Eventually we got to the point where she wouldn't ask any questions, and it was just like, almost like going to work. Like I'd be like, I got to do something, and she'd be like, "Oh, work related?" I'd be like, "Yeah," and then she wouldn't ask any questions.
So can you walk me through one of these check cashing place, money exchange?
Yeah. Well, there was one up in there's a city in Israel called Haifa. So I was actually living with my girlfriend up there for a bit, and I was scoping places out and stumbled on this place. So most of these not cash, it's not a check cashing, it's a cash exchange. So you exchange dollars to shekels or vice versa, or shekels to euros. So there's a lot of people in Israel from all over the world. So that's why they're everywhere. But the thing is, most of these places have the glass They have like bulletproof glass going right up to the ceiling. So they're obvious targets, but the security measures, you know, they keep people like me away for the most part. But I stumbled on this one spot where the glass wasn't all the way to the ceiling. It went halfway. So literally all I have to do would be to hop right over. So I scoped the place out. So when I actually did the job, you know, I walk in and I actually brought like a prop because the way this place was set up, there was like you walk in and there's like a lobby and then you get buzzed in to the main part of the store. So I actually bought a closed sign from a hardware store and I was going to put it outside the front door because you could also lock the front door upon entrance. So the way this place was set up was like the guy who designed this place should get locked up for aiding and abetting. You know what I mean? Like, it was ridiculous. Like, you walk in, you can literally lock the door behind yourself, and then you get buzzed into the main part. So I brought this closed sign. I walk in, and there's a customer in the main part of the cash exchange store. So I waited for him to finish his business. He walks out. So remember, I'm wearing the old man mask. He actually, I think he said good day to me as he walked out. And then I put the close sign by the door, and I'm about to lock it. And these two like housewives or whatever are walking into the store, and they actually asked me, "Hey, you guys are closed?" I said, "Yeah, we'll be open in half an hour. Come back later." So they leave. I lock the door. I put the close sign there. The lady buzzes me in. You know, I pull out. I actually always used an imitation piece. I never used a real gun because they're more trouble than they're worth. Like, I was never out to hurt people. And
you still will go to prison as if you had a real gun, though, right?
Actually, no. When I was going through my case, because I never used a real gun, that was a factor that helped me get a lesser sentence because it showed that I wasn't actually ready to hurt anybody. So that was taken into account. But yeah, so I always use the imitation piece. Like I said, I never wanted to hurt anybody. And you don't need a real gun because as long as there's that, as long as it looks real and they think it's real, that's it. I'm not here to. This isn't like the movies where you're going to get into shootouts with the cops, obviously. So I pulled out this imitation piece, and I could have hopped over the glass barrier, but my plan was to her to, open the door, and I would come in, empty the till, and then have her open the safe. So this is the lady that worked there. Obviously, I could have just hopped over, but I figured let me kind of save myself the trouble. If I don't have to, I won't. But she froze up, and she wouldn't. This actually happens a lot. People freeze up, because I was always kind of trying to be a gentleman bandit, and I always had to eventually raise my voice because people, they freeze up and they don't follow instructions in this type of situation unless you're sort of kind of raising your voice and ordering them around. That's just how it is. So, but she just froze up and she wouldn't open the door, and she pressed the alarm button, and I hear the alarm going off. So I hop over the barrier. I just hop over it, empty the till. She's flipping out like I'm going for her children or whatever. I'm not paying any attention to her, and I'm emptying the till, and the alarm's going off. So now I got to get out of there, and I didn't have time to go for the safe. So I get out of there. I get the close sign on the way out, and I had the getaway car around the corner with stolen plates, like stolen tags on the car. I hop in the car. I actually used the garage that was a few blocks away that I discovered when I was living there with my girl, that there was like a garage that you could just pull in. And it was empty because it was a weekday afternoon. Everybody's at work. So I switched the plates. I parked the car on the street, and then I hail a cab. I have the cab take me to a city, a nearby city. My plan was to switch cabs several times, because from Haifa to Tel Aviv, it's an hour. It's an hour's drive. Do you still have the mask on?
Do you still have the mask on?
No. So I take the mask off as I'm driving away in the getaway car, because they see a guy. As soon as the mask is off, like they're looking at a whole different guy. So it's like that blue chick from X-Men. You remember her, the one who could shapeshift? Yeah. So So I could give her a run for her money. So I get into I take the mask off in the car. I'm in the garage. I change clothes, switch the plates, and park the car on the street, hail a cab. And actually, as I'm waiting for the cab, a cop car drives by and gives me a once-over, but obviously I don't match the description, so they keep driving. I get in the cab, and my plan was to switch cabs a few times because from Haifa to Tel Aviv, it's an hour. It's an hour's driving. So if I get a cab to take me from Haifa to Tel Aviv, and there was just a robbery, like, around the corner, it's going to raise, maybe later on, he'll put two and two together. So my thing was, I'll switch cabs several times, So he takes me to a city south of Haifa, a city called Akko. And I get out, I have a duffel bag where I left the car clean. So everything connected to the job, I had in a big duffel bag. I had the money, I had, the mask, the gloves, the fake piece, everything, the plates as well, the stolen plates. And I'm trying to get another cab. And for some reason, there were no cabs whatsoever in this entire city. I couldn't find a cab. So I'm walking around with all this on my back. And I'm going to the train station, because I figure there might be cabs waiting for passengers to get off. And I see like an army of cops. Like, I don't know if they were doing a training session or what, but there's like an army of cops just hanging out, shooting the breeze outside the train station. I'm just walking there with a big duffel bag.